Here, let me just say very briefly. Look, what the single payer, consider it Medicare for all. Ask your neighbor if you're not old enough to have Medicare. Ask them how their service is. Every year they do a survey of all Medicare beneficiaries. 96% say they're satisfied with it, which for a government program or any business would be glad to have that. They also ask the providers, the hospitals, the doctors, rated on a score of 1 to 6. Last year the score on average 4.5, which is pretty good. That's essentially an A minus. And what it does is it says, look, we're not going to have high overhead. We're not going to pay you the bust out top of the market, but every single person you're going to get prompt payment. Everyone's going to be covered. You're going to have customers all around the nation, and we're going to try to do some smart things to contain costs. Now, make no mistake about it. The canard that's raised, oh, wait a minute, Medicare is a successful program. We all like it, but the cost is too high. It's true. We have more older people. To some degree, Medicare's success has been why it's having trouble financially. We're living 10 years longer today than we were when Medicare was passed. And by the way, Mr. Ellison, it's not 10 years in our teenage years. We get 10 years at the end of life, when we have more health care costs. But if we want to solve a problem in Medicare, you call your congressman. You get on the phone. The taxpayers employ those people. If you want to fix your private insurance, if they shut you down, they kick you out, you get on an 800 number or you buy shares in their company. Those are the two ways you influence it. So what we're saying is let's have a more efficient model. Let's have a model that's lower cost. Let's have a model that we know works. If you don't think it works, ask our Republican friends. How come they keep voting for it over and over? I offered an amendment in the Energy and Commerce Committee, and I see my colleagues in the Judiciary Committee, but the Energy and Commerce Committee, I said, you don't like single-payer health plan? Put your money where your mouth is. And I offered an amendment on the day of the 44th anniversary of Medicare to eliminate the program. They say they don't like government-run health care. Eliminate the program. Not a single one of those people, and I'm prohibited on the floor from calling them phonies, not a single one of those people voted no. Or voted yes to eliminate Medicare. Oh, no, we love Medicare, we love Medicare. You like Medicare if you're 65, but not if you're 64? Not if you're 60? Not if you're 45? Why? What's the intellectually honest explanation of that? If you believe the program that you're going to fight and defend, you should have it when you're 65. What's magical about that? When my dad retired at 60, wasn't eligible to get Medicare, and he went on the private insurance market, they said, fine, for $15,000 a year, retired guy, why not give that guy Medicare? And then maybe in a couple of years we give younger guys Medicare. We get down to the 20s where you are, we give you Medicare. The point is, we know what works. You want simple? We got simple. Medicare for all Americans. You want inexpensive? You want low overhead? We got that. Medicare for all Americans. We want something that every doctor accepts? Medicare for all Americans. You want complete 100% choice of what doctor you go to? Medicare for all Americans. Now, one thing it doesn't do. It doesn't skim off 20% for profits. You won't see TV commercials, with people sitting in rocking chairs saying, boy, I'm glad I got Medicare. No, they're going to put that money into health care. Does it need some fixing? Yeah. We do some dumb things. We'll put $900 for someone to be in a hospital bed. We won't pay $50 to put up a handrail when 1/3 of all seniors get into a hospital emergency room because of slips and falls. We do some dumb things, and we need to fix it. But I got to tell you something. As a member of Congress representing 660,000 people in Brooklyn and Queens, in New York City, in God's country, I would much rather fight with CMS, fight with the federal bureaucracy, which, by the way, I get far fewer complaints about them than I do about private insurance companies, than having to hope that I get a good response from my insurance company. So that's basically the philosophy behind the single-payer thing. And I have to take exception to one thing the president said in his speech. He said some people in this chamber want a single-payer system like they have in Canada. No. I want a single-payer system like we have in the United States of America. I want a single-payer plan that my father has. I want a single-payer plan that my mother has. I want a single-payer plan that took my grandparents, whose generation had a 30% poverty rate before Medicare and is now at 8%. That's the American single-payer plan. So don't let people distract you by, oh, it's Europe, it's socialism, it's Canada. It's the United States of America. We know how to do health care in the United States, and it's called Medicare. The Democrats created it. The Republicans now embrace it. got bipartisan support. Let's expand it, and I appreciate it. And let me just yield on this point. First of all, I appreciate it. I'm not a member of the Progressive Caucus. I never could, the final stage of the application, as you know, is the talent competition, and I was never able to make it through that last threshold. But the fact that you, in hour-long blocks, have real thoughtful conversation, this present company excluded, but real thoughtful conversations about this issue that explore the actual facts and the underpinning is exactly why this has been, I believe, a proud moment in our American civic life. You put aside the people yelling, calling people names, put that aside for a moment. This is something all Americans see through the lens of their own experience. They feel very passionate about it. And so I asked all of the people watching today and all of the people here observing this debate, ask someone about their experience with Medicare. And you'll see it's a pretty good ambassador for a government program that works pretty well that we should try to expand to more Americans. But I thank you very much for your kindness today.